I'm here like we need to have a candid conversation, tell the truth about what's going on, where the L's that black men got a hold cool, but everything ain't black men's fault.
In this video, I did an interview with a man by the name of Edward Anderson. And the topic is going to be a series that's called Anti-Propaganda. Edward Anderson defines himself as an anti-propagandist. Well, what is the propaganda?
And I'm not going to sit here and live in a world where I got to be in perpetual apology because black women and certain black women made decisions that they are empowered to make, and they didn't go the way they wanted. So now everything is every black man's fault.
The questions that we have to ask ourselves, especially in 2022, is African American men over-policed? Is some of the narratives about African American men the same as it was 30 years ago? And if it's not the same, why are we still perpetuating the same story and the same narrative? And what is some of the effects? This is going to be part one of many series in which I'm investigating exactly what is going on. So before we continue, let's hear what Edward Andrew has to say on this particular subject matter.
And I'm not going to sit here and live in a world where I got to be in perpetual apology because black women and certain black women made decisions that they are empowered to make, and they didn't go the way they wanted. So now everything is every black man's fault.
You heard what Edward Anderson had to say. Let me ask you a question. Do you believe what Edward Anderson had to say in the sense of, is our society or our community destroyed mainly because of African American men? Leave a comment below and let me know what you think. It is very interesting to note that we have a lot of people who are saying that many of the problems is strictly on one sex or the other. But for right now, our argument is going to be this. Is the downfall of the African American community strictly a man's fault?
Talking about dudes either on the down low, blah, 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 blah. Maury just ended after 30 years.
I think we need to investigate that. But for right now, if you like what you hear and you want more of video content like this that's going to dig deeper into the many different narratives, or as Edward Andrew would say, propaganda, let me know in the comments below that you want additional content that's going to dig deeper into the anti-propaganda statements. Share this video, like this video, and watch another video. Again, let's get into it.
You got black women talk about the number. You got black women talk about the number one killer of black women is black men. Number one killer of black women is black men, and they just let that rock and just a lot of this media and stuff. Number one, it puts black men in a position where they think they're evil. They in a perpetual guilt, perpetual guilt. And you have women that they don't know what up is down. They're sitting there advocating for experiences they never even lived. They talking about the color purple like it's like a nonfiction work. I promise you, if you poll black people and ask them was the color purple based on a true story, most black people, and I'm talking about black men and black women, would say that.
Is the color purple a true story? Is it based on historical facts? Let me know in the comments below whether you believe that the color purple was based on reality or someone's fantasy. Leave a comment and let me know.
So, I mean, from the trust standpoint, trust is a non-renewable resource. What does that mean? Think of it like fossil fuels. Fossil fuels took thousands, millions of years in order to create, as far as impact, as far as, hard, the earth, it's not something that can be renewed. Think of it like trees too. Trees take about 30 years to grow, or, kind of 20 years. You get what I'm saying? Europe used to be full of forests. Look at it now. They talk about that with the Brazilian, the Amazon. So trust is like that amongst a group. And what you've looked at amongst generations is an erosion of trust. Now, black women have never really trusted black men, but black men have bared that burden. But now what you're starting to see is black men as a group don't trust black women. So things such as your mama black, you hate yourself, what about us as a people? These things are less effective as you get younger and younger. You can see the Z's. They don't even really respond to that. The millennials kind of do, and the Xers definitely do. And you can see that generation because nobody are really addressing what's really going on. Nobody's being honest. So that's kind of, and then also I would ask, number one, number two, there's no social contract amongst black men and black women anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time. Number three, we're going to talk about checks and balances and the lack thereof. All checks and balances are against black men. There are no checks and balances legally, socially, culturally, on black female fuck. There's not. And so as a result, these things all feed into trust. So and you see it manifest the most in the Z's, which is why you see a lot of young women coming up talking about why are these young black men skipping them straight up, because they're not trying to participate in the stuff they saw like their mama doing and stuff like that. And they're willing. See, millennials weren't willing to say that up front. Z's are. They don't care.